So what is the winning recipe? We all know that segmentation is important, but where's the line between manageable and craziness? That's what we're going to talk about. Segmentation is the act of grouping for the purpose of reaching a deeper understanding about the items being categorized. So the word segmentation in itself can mean a lot of different things. As a marketing tool, segmentation is a reaction to the fact that not everyone needs the same things, and not every product offers the same benefits. So as we discuss segmentation this morning, let's keep that definition in mind. Before we begin, you may be asking yourself why you should segment your marketing materials. Why should you gain that deeper understanding about what's being categorized, and what ways can you deal with the fact that not everyone needs the same things and not every product offers the same benefits? Why not just send one message to everyone on your list? You have one basic product offering or services offering, right? So why take the time and effort to identify your segments and mix up the messages? Frank Romano and David Browdy did a study that is very well known in the marketing world, and we took just a brief look at that yesterday. What the study focused on was a comparison of the response rates between various versions of a marketing mailer. When the mailer was sent out with just static black and white text, they received a 0.46% response rate. And ask yourself if you would be happy with that type of response. If you take the time to do an awesome marketing campaign, you've architected the campaign, you've got it all structured, everything's great, you've spent time on copy and on design, and you get a 0.46 response rate. Is that good, or is that not enough? When they added the recipient's name only to that black and white mailer, there was an increase in response, just as there was if there was color only. It increased over the black and white by 44 and 45%. Putting color and the name, 135% increase over the black and white static mailer. But during the study, database information that was known about the recipients was added to full color and the name, the results were off the charts. 500% increase over the static black and white mailer. Incorporating segmentation caused that type of phenomenal increase. So now that the why's been established, let's talk about how you go about segmenting your marketing. The first step in incorporating segmentation into your marketing plan effectively is to know your audience. Whether you're marketing business to business, selling products or services to consumers, or requesting support through financial donations, you must recognize and acknowledge that your target audience is made up of unique individuals or unique companies. The needs, their wants, and the emotional triggers of your target audience are all unique. What motivates them to act and listen to your call to action is going to be different depending on what they love, what they need, where they listen, lots of different factors that you need to understand. Although people and companies are unique, there are common interests, wants, needs, and motivations that can be found that allow you to create meaningful and natural groups to begin to segment your audience. Are there common traits about your audience that you can find? And in order to answer that question, first you need to take a look at your data, at your database. What data do you have that could be helpful to begin to find similarities among those that are in your target audience? Do you know their giving history? Do you know their purchase history? Do you know their geographic location, their gender, their income, their level of education? Those are all bits of information that you know or may know about your users that can be used to start forming those natural groups within your marketing. And we've all heard the saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that point is very important when you're segmenting your marketing communications. When you evaluate your database, you may find 20 different categories of information that you have for each recipient. And let's just assume that you have 5,000 recipients in your database. So how many different combinations or variations could that possibly create? Doesn't matter, it's way too many. Not only do too many combinations make a campaign overly complex to manage, think about all of the different possible combinations and QCs that you need to go through, quality controls, looking at every possible version. You're also taking more time and expense for your copywriters, your designers, your proofers, everyone that touches the piece. So we believe that we should segment, but not too much. So how do you decide which demographic information to include? There are 3 segmentation guidelines that can help answer that question. Effective segmented marketing campaigns, and those are the ones that yield those response rate increases of 500%, are a result of audience segmentation that is relevant, manageable, and trackable. Relevant segmentation means that the demographics used to create a segmented marketing campaign must be intentionally selected for the sole purpose of generating a response from the recipient. Just because you know someone's income level, if it's not relevant to a purchase that you want your users to make or the call to action that you want them to take, it's not relevant. You need to consider that the bits of information that you know about your users that will be relevant and cause them to act. Relevant segmentation also needs to be manageable. Realistically, 5 to 6 different variables within a marketing communication is what's manageable. That's just kind of a standard to work from. Any more than that, and you're not able to effectively measure the impact of the segmentation. One of the questions that we raised earlier was why invest the time and effort? And in order to have the data to prove that it is worth investing the time and effort for your organization, you have to be able to measure the results. This may require some A/B testing. Maybe the A version is a static mailer and the B version is a segmented marketing communication. Measure and report which segment, A or B, is more effective. And in addition, you need to keep track whenever you can what demographics are generating the greatest lift in results. And again, that's going to, in order to get those numbers, you're going to need to do some testing, test different demographics, test different bits of copy to be able to make a plan for future mailings that you know will be effective. Tracking will help you make those adjustments that you need to and continue to increase your results. So by using your data, you're going to find that those natural groups will come to the surface. Use the rules of relevant, manageable, and trackable to identify the particular groups you wish to incorporate into your marketing communications. You need to know different things about your users that will help you be successful. If you are sending a solicitation for donations and you want to appeal to different types of people, you need to know where their affiliations lie, where they're going to want to spend their money. If you are selling a product that's high-end, you really need to know whether or not your recipients can afford to purchase the product that you're selling, and why spend your marketing dollars and your marketing time on people who can't afford your product. That's not good use of your resources. So find those natural groups and use that information to enhance your marketing. So at this point, you're probably thinking, I have great data, and I can easily see how we would use segmentation or how we're using segmentation now. Or you may be thinking, I don't have any of the data that I need, or I don't have enough. Maybe your database is new, maybe it's old, maybe it's outdated. Maybe there's just never been an effort made to gather additional demographic information to enhance your basic name and address information. Don't panic. Segmented marketing is still an option for you. In fact, there are a couple ways that you can proceed. First, you can begin now to build your database on your own. Find out what information would be ideal for you to have about your audience. Ask them. Create an online survey to collect information. Now, in order to have good response rates, you may need to offer an incentive, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give something away for free. It may mean that you can offer an exclusive product. Could mean that you offer a discount, but it could be a white paper or a best practices list or a cool ways to use your product. But give the user an incentive to be able to get them to provide you the information that you need to enhance your database. And second, you may want to or need to work with a marketing solutions provider like Lexinet or someone like Lexinet to overlay your existing database with the demographic information that you would like to use to enhance your data. There is all kinds of information out there in the world. Propensities to buy, income information, presence of children, number of vehicles. The information is there, and it can be added or overlaid to your own information to enhance the data that you have. Anything that's missing, you can add either through asking your database and getting them to respond, or by overlaying that information. Lexinet houses the Experian nationwide database, and that database is what we use to be able to overlay that data. Yesterday, during the first webinar, we talked about personalization to enhance your marketing communications without being creepy. And I think you still need to keep in mind those principles when you're changing your marketing messages based on demographic information that you know about your database. You don't want to cross the line, you don't want to go too far, but if that segmentation, the fact that you're incorporating that personalization increases your response rates and you do it appropriately, it really can boost your marketing. Here's a few examples of projects that we've produced that have incorporated effective segmentation and that have really resulted in good response rates for us. The first piece, this was a project that we did that was a summer appreciation greeting card, and we sent it to our customers. And what the customers were able to do was to select from 4 or 5 different books that they would receive, and along with the book they would receive a personalized cover to that book. Well, we sent to women and to men. So to segment the piece, we had the image on the right for women and the image on the left for men. So we separated that, segmented that particular marketing piece based on gender. This piece was actually a magnet piece that we did as a follow-up to a survey. And the circled part, the superhero, was a magnet that was included in the letter. And we had asked our survey, the people that we surveyed, if they could have any one superpower, what would they like it to be? So on the left, was John's piece, and John had a superpower that he wanted to be able to use, and that was incorporated into the text on the piece. Because he was a male, the male version of the piece was used. And on the right was Krista, and Krista had a different superpower that she wanted to be able to use, and her image was of a woman. So segmentation, once again, based on gender, which can be a very simple way. Now, you might ask, what do you do if you don't know the gender? And in that case, we would have a generic option. There would be 3 designs, actually, so that would be an option as well. And finally, this was a piece that was done. It was a thank you to responders who had completed a survey, and they were asked different questions. Now, this is actually more personalization than it is segmentation, but the user was asked, what's your favorite color? And then was asked to fill in some information that they knew, or that the company was wanting to know about them. And that goes back to enhancing your database. What information do you wish you knew about your database entries, and how can you get them to provide that information for you? So what we did was we did a survey. We asked the users a few short questions. We didn't want to make it a long survey that was going to take too much of their time. And we started off with a really light question, what's your favorite color? And then asked some information that we really needed to know to enhance the database. In exchange for completing the survey, they received this thank you greeting card format that included a $5 Starbucks coffee card. So that was the thank you that they received, the incentive that they received for completing that information. But in an appropriate and almost subliminal way, whatever they chose for their favorite color, that was the color of the coffee card, or the color of the coffee mug in the thank you card that went out to them. So this is actually 4 different cards, and the version would change, the artwork would change just very slightly based on their favorite color. And again, this could change also depending on their gender. Now keep in mind there's a difference between segmentation and personalization. In this case, segmentation was when we separated the male versus female. Personalization involved putting their name on the piece and perhaps giving them a special message. So we included a personalized URL. Go to www.lexinetcorp.com/Catherine.Johnson to learn more. We included that personalized landing page. And the copy continued on to the landing page. So if it was a female, that artwork carried on to the landing page in addition to the piece. The fact that the images were segmented based on male versus female, combined with the personalization of including their name here, and their personalized URL, was what really set it apart. So it was, goodness, got ahead of ourselves. It was personalized and segmented, which even though they're 2 different things, they work very closely together to be able to maximize your marketing. That is our whole presentation today. We're definitely ready to take some questions. Let us know what questions you have by typing those into your chat box. Wanted to also let you know that at noon Central Standard Time, we're going to have a session on why cross the channels, talking about cross-channel marketing, which is not the same thing as multi-channel marketing. And then at 2 p.m. today, Central Standard Time, is Come to the Center of It All. And that session will talk about ways in which you can find marketing information very specific to your industry, specific to your needs, and find it all in one place. I should have mentioned at the beginning, so we'll mention now, that we're also having our 20th anniversary celebration on LinkedIn on Facebook and on Twitter, and we still have some amazing prizes to give away. We still have our Thrive tablet to give away, our TV, HD TV, our LCD TV. I think it's a 32-inch TV to give away. We still have some really great prizes. So on Twitter, we are at Lexanet Marketing MKTG, and our hashtag for the event is Lexanet20, so feel free to use that. Find us on Facebook and also on LinkedIn. We're having a great time, and if you're following us on Twitter, please know that we are blasting out tweets yesterday and today, but after today we're going to slow down a lot, and you won't be receiving tweets every 5 minutes from this point forward. So let's get to some questions. The first question, isn't segmentation expensive? You know, it's the way you look at it. Does it take a little more time? A little bit? Yes, definitely. But when you hire a qualified marketing solutions company to help you execute your campaign, segmentation in relation to your results is really not expensive at all. It takes a little bit more time for programming and a little bit more time for design and copy, but since your elements of your marketing campaign are digitally printed or electronically created, it's all put together programmatically, so it's not as complex as you might think. Images are switching out programmatically. When you're using one-to-one variable print and doing everything print on demand, it's really much simpler and much more effectively and efficiently done than you would think. So it's really not more expensive, especially when you look at that increase in response rates to go from, you know, even 135% to 500% over the static mailer. We have another question. When moving towards segmentation, what are the initial data elements that are most helpful to gather in industry-specific marketing? That's a great question, and part of it depends on what your industry is. If you are, and it also depends on what your message is. If you are, for example, trying to raise money for a specific project or for a specific campaign, then definitely income of your recipient might be an important thing to know. You may want to group your followers or your database by affiliation. So if they are, let's just use a college example, if they're part of the College of Agriculture versus the College of Engineering, those are easy groups that jump right out that you can segment by to vary your message just a little bit, to vary your copy just a little bit, to make it more impactful to the user and encourage them to take your action. You know, gender is an easy one, but that's more generic. If you're working in a very industry-specific situation, then you're going to want to apply meaningful information from your industry. I hope that answers the question. We have another question. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reading here. What are the different demographic information that can be overlaid onto your database? There are many options. It really depends on what you're looking for and how deep you want to go with your segmentation. For example, if you're a car dealer and you want to know who's in the market for a new car, there are ways that that information can be obtained. It can be obtained from warranty information to find out how long ago someone purchased their last car. It can be based on you know, whether they've been identified as someone who's in the market. that can all be obtained. And again, depending on how detailed the information is or how specific the information is, you're probably going to pay a little bit more for that information. But if it's coming back to you in terms of conversions or in terms of sales, you may very well determine that it is absolutely worth it. Another example would be if you're a bank and you're looking for people who are wanting to refinance their home, we can find data that shows when their adjustable rates will change, and that might be a perfect time to find someone that's looking for that type of service or looking to refinance their home. Home improvement industry, we use the length of time that the home has been built. If it was built over 20 years ago, it's possible that they may be in the market for a new roof. Then we need to target or determine what time frame they're in to determine whether or not it's a good time to let them know that we can help them with their roofing needs. Got another question here. What segmentation effort has worked extremely well? Is that for LexNet? And why? Okay. Segmentation efforts that's going to work really well for you and why they work really well for you is going to depend on your industry. And what made it a slam dunk? I like that. What made it a slam dunk? It's going to depend on who your industry is, honestly. And you know, purchasing decisions can really be very emotional, and you need to hit the emotions of your target audience when you're determining what your segmentation is and what your message is going to be. Segmentation is a part of your marketing campaign just like any other piece of the marketing campaign is. What channel to use, when to send it, who to send it to. That who to send it to is part of your segmentation, but it's all a part of marketing or architecting a great marketing campaign. So you need to find the emotional point that's going to impact your users the most. For example, if you are a parent who has children that attend a specific school, and that school is going to, we used the example yesterday, they're putting on a new technology classroom and they need to be able to raise funds for that classroom. If you appeal to the alumni as one segment, parents of students within the school as another segment, and the community as another segment, they're all going to have different emotional reasons to respond to that call to action. Send us funds so that we can build these new technology classrooms. The emotional point for the parents is going to be how it's going to impact their children. The emotional point for the community is going to be how it's going to impact the community and bring new people to that particular school. The emotional impact for the alumni is going to be how they're going to improve the experience of new students that are coming through the school just like they did. A slam dunk is going to involve hitting that emotional point for your recipients that's going to help them be able to help you be successful in a way that they feel good about themselves. If you say, we can come put a new roof on your home, it's going to be more energy efficient, it's a green solution, and you're going to be able to get a tax credit for putting that new roof on, that's going to be an emotional touch point for your users. And oh, by the way, if you do it before the end of the year, you'll save 10%. By finding that segment of people who are in the market for a new roof, you're hitting that it's an environmentally beneficial thing to do, and it's going to save them money. You're going to hit those emotional points. You just need to determine what those are, and then you're definitely going to have a slam dunk with your campaign, and segmentation is going to be a huge part of that. Do we have another question? Okay. When moving towards segmentation, what are the initial data elements? I think we answered that one. that are most helpful for industry-specific marketing? Yep, I think we might have answered that one. Each industry is going to be unique. And even though, like we talked about, even though each of your recipients are unique, the common groups can be found. We've been involved with projects before where there are those 20 things that are known about 20 different groups, and 5,000 people we're going to mail to 5,000 people, and we just allowed too many segments to creep into the marketing campaign. It's almost like feature creep when you're setting up a new website. It just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's just a ball rolling down the hill, and it's hard to stop it, and it's also very difficult to track it. So keeping track of those 3 rules of relevant, manageable, and trackable are a great way to make sure that your segmented marketing campaign is a success. I think we are out of questions. Please feel free to contact us with any other questions that you might have. We look forward to you joining us for a future webinar, and thank you very much for joining us today. And don't forget, tweet and follow us on LinkedIn and follow us on Facebook and win some great prizes today. Thank you.